Hello Dabblers, it's JP.
And Floz.
And we're here with a hobby with us. So it's a bit of both kinds of hobbies. We've seen this before, we did this a couple of months ago. But what we're going to be doing is doing our hobbies and having an old chit chat about just, you know, all things going on in our lives, and also introducing the kinds of hobbies that we're doing today. So, Florina, do you want to introduce what project you've got going on?
I don't think I've done a stitch with me with this one yet. So this is called Neural Stem Cell Electron Microscope, and I'm doing it for JP. It's gonna be a little present for him. And recently I just had this idea that, oh, maybe I should get it done before Christmas, so then I can gift it to him later as a Christmas gift. And then ever since, I just feel so motivated to stitch on this one.
Yeah, you love stitching that one, don't you?
Just recently.
It's a good one, it's a good one. Well, yeah, just so everyone knows, don't want people to get the wrong impression, but it is not an electron microscopy though. I just got as a scientist, and I guess I'm of all kinds of science, I'm a microscopist really. Like, I do a lot of microscopy, and although I don't do electron microscopy, I know what electron microscopy looks like, and that ain't it.
Sorry, not sorry.
That's fluorescence microscopy. I'd say fluorescence microscopy is the prettier of the two kinds. Like, it's definitely all about the colours when it comes to fluorescence, whereas electrons microscopy is all black and white. Like, it's a Pollock painting in comparison.
I'm sorry, I didn't name this, sorry.
No, definitely. But that's okay. Just so, for anyone that's just learning, don't want to get any students learning. If there's anyone here, don't want to get them mixed up.
Fair enough. So what are you painting there? Or going to paint?
Well, I'm going to paint. So I'm going to finish off these two units here. So you see these ghosty ladies? Ghost ladies because they're banshees. So this is actually the Age of Sigmar Myrmourn Banshees. From the Nighthaunt range, and they're these really cool, dynamic, but easy to build models. But I'm using them obviously for Kings of War. So what I've done is I painted them separately as separate models, and once I was pretty happy with the way that they looked, I decided to glue them to this base. So this is just, you can see here, it's just plastic, just some plastic, 3mm thick. So I glued their bases, which you can see the outlines of there, and I didn't want to get rid of their bases, because normally in Kings of War, if you had a model and you want to put on a multi-base, you wouldn't glue it on its base. But if you take a look, their bases are actually really scenic. There's a lot of detail involved, and I just didn't want to lose that. I thought, oh, what a shame, you know. Essentially, that's doing my job for me in terms of basing. So I thought instead what I'd do is I'd glue the bases onto the plastic, and then, as you can see, using rocks and grit and stuff like that, so there's actually like snow and just filler, I were able to hopefully mask most of the roundness of the bases, so you can't really see. So that was quite a bit of work getting all that done. Never done it before, but I think it worked out reasonably well. You can see the ice effect where I've got the flatter parts, so that's what I've done here. Anyway, so what's left to do is just to touch up the actual models themselves, highlight them a little bit, and then paint the sides of the base here a bright blue, just to make them done. So that's what I've got for this one. Then the other thing I've got to paint actually is these two. Well, it's a single model, but there's two of them involved, so I'll bring them up here. So we've got the Rider. So you might recognize this Chaos Lord from the Manticore set. Let's try and get into focus. So anyway, I'm painting it in the style of my demons, of which they have blue skin. So hence, his skin is blue to match them. So I'll be painting that up. This is all just the base coats really going on here. And so he is no longer riding a Manticore, because I sold the Manticore many years ago, but kept the cool rider because the person didn't want the rider. But I do have a nice horse here, kind of a demonic chaos horse. And so he will be riding this horse with his very extravagant chain cloak. And the idea that this is going to be for my Abyssals a Hellequin Knight. Or Hellequin Blood Masque, I believe is the title of it. So it's a kind of just a character knight. And so I just thought that's a very silly but extravagant kind of model like that. And these ladies, the Banshees are actually tortured souls for the same army, which definitely look the part. They look like tortured souls, so pretty happy with how things are coming along. So hopefully, with this hobby session, I'll get these both done. Whereas, Verena, are you going to get your thing done?
No way.
Oh, okay.
I need a lot more time than, just a couple hours.
Just a couple of hours. Yeah, it's definitely a long-term hobby, yours. I mean, mine's long-term too when you think about a whole army, but nothing compared to a whole stitch. A whole... What would you call a whole thing?
Whole project?
Oh, I thought there was a stitchy version of that. But anyway, so that's what we've got on the tables. Well, my table and your stand.
Mm-hmm.
The famous Lowry stand. Lowry stand 3. Still the best video on our channel. Somehow. But yeah, let's get painting. So, what would you like to chat about today, Florina?
You may or you may not know. Victoria is in deep trouble again.
Victoria, Australia. There's other Victorias.
Yeah, that's true. I think last time when we did the hobby with us, we were in the 5th lockdown. Now we're in the 6th lockdown. And it's the extended version as well.
Yeah, it's like a bad Fast and Furious movie. It just doesn't stop.
No, it does not. And, well, we were pretty depressed for a while, actually, because our original plan was, we're having our 2 weeks off right now as our annual leave. We planned this a while ago, and we were hoping at least we will be able to go somewhere. And we decided to book the flights and the hotel for Darwin, actually. We were planning to stay there for 4 nights. And it would be all beautiful and everything. And, the next week, JP's got his 29th birthday. And we can go hot spring. We can go brunch, lunch, whatever. Have a good time, but lockdown, why not?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the way coronavirus works, and I think this will be backed up with science now, is that the more plans you make, the more likely an outbreak is to occur. So, definitely, if you want to beat the virus, don't plan anything and only do things at the last minute, I think is the only way out of it. Because that's what we did. We planned too much. We booked flights and a hotel. It was too much, Florina.
Yeah, we definitely... We are not happy. Because, so we booked everything after we came out of the 5th lockdown. We thought, okay, at least it would be okay or stable for several weeks. So we thought we were safe. Turns out, 1 week and a half later, we went into the 6th lockdown. Thanks, New South Wales.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to point blame, but if it's not New South Wales, then I don't know what it is. Because for once, it was not our hotel system. Our hotel quarantine system is essentially the only... Australia likes to try and keep the coronavirus bay, essentially by just not letting it in physically. And that works moderately well. But the problem is we have hotels that we keep patients in. And if you're familiar with any kind of hotel, they're not really meant for housing infectious patients. But anyway, that's a different discussion and not really the topic of this one. We're just complaining about the lockdown that we're in. And I understand a lot of people around the world have got differing restrictions coming back. We all thought we were out of it, and then Delta's just like, excuse me, I have something to say.
I'm here to party.
Here to party. Or to ruin your party. Thank you, Delta. But yeah, it's not fun. Just means that we gotta focus on our hobby as well. Because I also had extra plans on top. We had all this. But the last weekend, the one that just happened, I was going to go to my first big Kings of War tournament. It was supposed to be really big. It was supposed to be like, people were going to come from New South Wales, maybe even Queensland. It's supposed to be a big deal. Lots of people come to play, get to see lots of cool armies. I mean, that's the best part. You just want to see all the models out there, all the people's ideas and painting, and then we realised, oh well, probably New South Wales can't attend, so that's okay. It'll be a bit of a smaller event. But then we keep getting our own lockdowns, so we can't even play just as us Victorians. So fingers crossed. It was postponed to September.
So it was originally...
It was originally planned for June.
Yeah, right.
And then it was postponed to August because we're like, well, surely in August would be fine. And, well, here we are.
So this is the second postponing.
Yeah. It's happening at a bowls club. And apparently they're very nice. They completely understand and they're not like, oh, gotta pay more. Apparently they're like, yeah, we can postpone again. I mean, it's not like anyone else is going to take that slot.
And, yeah, I was supposed to get my hair done this Saturday as well. So, if you don't know, generally with Asian hair, if you want to do any kind of bleaching, the process takes a whole day. And I am lucky enough to be one of those salt and pepper people. So, I started having grey hair when I was, like, in grade 3. And last time when I got my hair done, it was in May, I think. Mid-May-ish. So now my hair is full of grey again after 3 months. Well, 2.5. So I was hoping to get my hair done, be all pretty and ready to enjoy my holiday in somewhere warm. And this is what we have to deal with. Lockdown and curfew as well, eh? Started today.
Yeah.
Oh, tomorrow.
We haven't got curfew yet. But we will not be allowed out after 9. Unless, of course, you're going about your work or getting to work or whatever.
Or emergency, like you need a medical...
Yeah, but you won't be finding any shops open after 9. So, it's kind of like living in a country town again. Nothing open after 9. That's it. Just got to stop people from having parties. Can people not have parties? Because that would be great. I
don't think we deserve this, to be honest.
Bloody party people. But in any case, we are here in Australia. We're relatively safe. We're just a bit slow with vaccinations. We're realising that it's actually quite important. And so people are getting it done. We're both vaccinated.
Yes. 2 doses. Fully vaccinated.
Double dose. Dose. But, yeah.
So please get your vaccinations. It's a way to protect yourself and hopefully other people too.
And yeah, aging parents and grandparents.
Yep. And I was talking to my mum today. It's good to know that both of my parents are fully vaccinated also.
There we go. Silver linings.
Yeah. It doesn't give you full protection. It doesn't mean you're like bulletproof, but at least it's for sure that even if you get the virus, your symptoms would be much milder.
Exactly. You're just not going to end up, much less likely to end up in hospital.
So yeah. We were even hoping, okay, hopefully the lockdown got extended once, and then at least we would still have 1 more week to have more fun. But no. So the whole
cafe.
Yeah.
I just want to go to a cafe and have like I'd even go for a really boring eggs Benedict, because you can't make egg Benedict at home. Who's going to make the hollandaise sauce? That's ridiculous.
But now the whole 2 weeks will be in lockdown and curfew. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, well that was, we could have taken only a week off. We could have changed our leave, but I think we're just wanting to, well, not enjoy, but to relax. We might not be fully enjoying, but at least we'll relax a bit.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately with this situation, because, people can't travel anymore, you're less or you're more reluctant to take leave because you feel like you're just staying at home. You're not really chilling somewhere else. And
Yeah, what are you
then
gonna
that
do with
would.
it? Why would you take it off?
But
But you
then,
need to relax.
yeah, you do. You do. So then people give themselves more burden and they get more stress, and with lockdown and cases and everything, you get more upset. It's not good. So normally, I don't know about anywhere else, but in Australia, if you're a full-timer, you get 20 days annual leave per year when you're working. I've worked... So ever since I changed my job, it's been 2 years and 3 months. I've taken a bit less than 4 weeks off. And JP has been working for 2.5 years. And he's even taken less leave. Because, well, technically, being a researcher means you have more flexibility in, how you can work, where you can work. Turns out, not really. A lot of the time, I told him, I took some leave. He's like, nah, I can't take those leave. I'm busy. All those different reasons.
It's a lie. Academia doesn't. It's false flexibility.
It's flexibly inflexible.
Exactly. You got experiments planned. There's little you can do about it.
So yeah, he's taken even less leave. So maybe 3 weeks?
Maybe.
Barely 3.5. So he actually feels exhausted. So I was asking him, since there's gonna be lockdown extension, do you think we should, delay our leave? He just gave me straight out no.
I just want to relax. Even if it's stuck here at home painting my models. It's more relaxing. That way when I get back to work, I can work hard.
Maybe.
Or hardly work.
Nah.
Cafe every day.
No.
Anyway.
I wonder how everyone else is doing.
Yeah, let us know.
Are you having lockdown, any form of restrictions, or you can just freely move about?
Probably depends on where you are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to go to the movies a bit. I wanted to see some of the new movies coming out.
Yeah, the last movie we watched was... So we went to a drive-in cinema. It was... What did we watch? Quiet Place 2.
Yeah, Quiet Place 2.
That was good.
That was great. That was a good one to go see, but
I mean, I think it would have been better if it was in like a proper cinema with proper sounds.
yeah,
surround sounds.
that's true. It's true. Nothing quite.
But we just thought if it's a drive-in cinema, that means you're less likely to get exposure.
COVID safe.
Yeah, or like in comparison, it's safe.
You don't have to. You don't. If you want to, you don't even have to leave your car.
Yes. Well, we did.
We left car because we want food.
Well, no, we got some hot chocolate.
We got hot chocolates. They're okay. Nothing fancy, but I mean, you're paying for the convenience.
Mm. And
but drive-in cinemas are pretty fun. It's tricky in winter because the car fogs up. Just like in the movies.
Yep.
So make sure you have some steam mitigation strategies in place. Yeah. I wanted to see Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. That looked pretty good. I want to see the Suicide Squad with Idris Elba.
Yeah, we do like some Idris Elba.
Idris Elba is amazing.
Awesome.
He's just... Any movie he's in, he's going to be a much better movie. I would have liked to have watched... Because, I mean, I didn't watch the previous Suicide Squad, and no one says you have to understand this one, which is good.
Did you have anyone near you that watched the previous one?
Did anyone I know watched it? Surely. But if they did, they didn't tell me that it was worth watching. Because when people were watching the Avengers, man, people wouldn't shut up. They're like, oh, have you seen Endgame? Have you seen this one? I think the only one that people didn't talk about was like Age of Ultron. No one was like, oh, you gotta see Age of Ultron. That was kind of just like...
We didn't watch it, did we? No, we didn't.
No, I ended up watching it on the plane and I was like, It's alright.
Ay.
Helped me understand some bits because I was just like, what's going on? But yeah, it's not. But who knows where that's going? The Marvel Universe.
I'm in a bit of a struggle town.
What's happening, Farina?
So this is a new setup. I've never really stitched with this setup. Normally I just stitch this with a Q-snap in hand so I can see a lot better, but this is like attached to a stand, obviously. So when I try to fix the thread, it gets a bit tricky. It's a bit hard to see where I'm poking the needle out from. So it's not as efficient as I would normally do it. But hey, win some, lose some. It's fine. Hopefully everything gets captured on camera. How you doing there, mister?
Well, I think I've done all the highlights I can be bothered to do on my Banshees. So I think it's time to paint the rim of my multi-base. So it doesn't look so gross. And then I can put these down and go on to the next model, which is cool. So yeah, I'm really glad I got these. This was originally a super fast job, hence I went initially for these with the Hex Wraith Flame, which is a technical paint, and you can just slap it on and it'll add a kind of just the green hue. But that was looking pretty lame just by itself. So then I put on top the yellow. So I think this is Lamenter's yellow, which is a glaze, and so that added the yellow tint that you can now see on them. And then I just dry brushed some white on top to bring them up a bit. So essentially I wanted to go with like a yellow green flame, witch flame kind of look. And yeah, so I'm pretty happy with them. And so now that I've got the extra time that the tournament's been postponed, I could put in the little extra love that hopefully has elevated them beyond a rush job, and now they actually look like this is how they're meant to be, rather than just an accident. So let's paint that rim, and then I'll go on to my next model. But yeah.
I wonder how everyone out there deal with, well, if you have a partner, how you deal with each other's hobby. Do you tolerate it? Do you respect it? Do you enjoy it together? How do you cope with it?
Yeah, because, well, Farina, what did you think of my hobby before you got into stitching, when you really didn't have that much else for yourself to do? You know, when I was painting, and you were just, you know, if we'd watch something, I'd paint and you just watch it.
Play with my phone, I think, most of the time.
You'd just be preoccupied with your phone.
Mm.
But what did you think of my hobby back then?
I think I was very jealous, to be honest. Well, because I don't get it. Oops. Sorry, let me just check. I feel like I missed something. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, I've tried painting his models before, but I definitely do not like it. For him, it's very relaxing, but for me, it stressed me out. It's weird how it's the same hobby, but it can do very opposite things to different people.
Well, yeah, it's because you were very afraid of making mistakes, right?
Yep. And I get really upset if mistakes did happen.
Well, I make mistakes all the time.
So just that uncertainty, yeah, really stresses me out. And yeah, that's why I can't paint. I tried, but I didn't like it at all.
So yeah, you couldn't join me in my hobbies.
No.
So then
Well, also you had a lot more hobbies.
Oh yeah,
It
I
seems
come
like-
pre-packaged with lots of hobbies.
But I had to, I don't know, it's like I had to look for it myself as an adult. It's different.
Well, it's like trying to get friends as an adult. That can be quite tricky. You know, you make friends pretty easily when you're a kid, and still pretty easy as a teenager, and less easy as you become an adult at uni. You know, you kind of just find people with you just befriend someone who's in your lecture. But yeah, as you become an adult, it gets hard. So it's the same with hobbies. You essentially finding something that clicks.
Sorry, I'm just trying to look for
That's okay. I can talk forever.
the symbol. I mean, it's tricky doing this one in particular on camera because there are a lot of colors, and I have to look for that symbol manually. So it's not like all action.
But it's also probably something interesting to watch Stitch, because
Well,
most people
hopefully I
wouldn't
wouldn't know.
Most people wouldn't be familiar with it.
That's true. Yeah, it's not one of those very famous things. It's just from indie Etsy vendor. Nothing wrong with doing something a bit more indie.
I didn't show off the blue. Lothern Blue is the one that I use.
Not sure whether this is captured on camera, but Amy's finishing her food outside.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can hear a bowl grinding around.
Maybe.
Probably not.
That's it. So there's a color that I can see. Okay, I think I need to anchor this.
So apologies to anyone that's waiting for more battle reports and things like that, but obviously when you're in lockdown, you're a bit limited in what you can do. You can't go to people's places. You can't go play in a shop. I do practice online, play some games on Tabletop Simulator with some friends, just so we can, you know, try out different armies and stuff. But you know, I'm not quite sure that that's worthwhile recording in terms of making a video of a battle. But let me know if you think that would be fine. It wouldn't be too hard. Obviously, it's mostly screen capture. But yeah.
I recommended it, but JP said nah, he doesn't think people will like it. So
well, yeah, it's
yeah.
Not sure. Maybe people will like it. But it's also a bit harder to, because I'll be playing the game, but also my camera is the only way that you can see the game. So that might be tricky. But I can give it a shot. If you guys are really starved for battles, then we can do some Tabletop Simulator one. I know people like Universal Battles for online games of Kings of War, but I like the fact that Tabletop Simulator literally simulates the tabletop feel. The rolling of the dice, the moving of actual like 3D models. I guess that's what I need to enjoy my game, rather than Universal Battle does it all 2D, like a board game almost.
I don't really know how Tabletop Simulator works, but I remember every time the game is finished, someone would flip the table and things would go everywhere. That's pretty funny.
Yes,
it's like, screw you! I'm done!
Yeah, Tabletop Simulator has a built-in table flip system. It's perfect. Loser gets to flip the table. Very satisfying. You can hear.
Oh, really? Is that how it works?
No, that's our unofficial.
Ah.
So you lose, you get the honor of flipping the table and watching all the miniatures clatter everywhere with sound effects.
Yes, I remember hearing that.
Yes, exactly. So, alright, it's time to do this room. Well, it's an indulgence you can't do in real life. Don't want to be flipping tables.
Oh god, this just keeps going.
Let's talk about what kind of media, in terms of like YouTube and stuff, we consume. Farina, what channels do you like to watch?
It's a bit of a mixed bag. Obviously, I do watch floss tubes, but selected people. I know there's a lot of Stitch with me sort of contents out there, but I tend to watch it when I'm doing housework and I need to see what I'm doing. So I tend to like those chatty ones, so I can hear the voice instead of, just the stitching. It doesn't help me really. But I know some people like the ASMR, thread going through the fabric, needle going through the fabric sort of noise. I like also watching K-pop videos. I keep up with some groups, obviously. Wow, K-pop world is it's like game world, I guess. But every day, new songs, like hundreds and hundreds of new songs and groups just debut and come out. It's hard to keep up as a whole, but I try to keep up with certain groups. I also like watching, I guess, mystery, true crime sort of stuff, but I watch the Chinese channels that talk about those. And sometimes I watch, I guess, like series or movie reviews, but the Chinese ones as well, and that's how I keep up with what's going on in the entertainment world in China. And also because in my daily life it's not very common that I get to speak Chinese, by watching those channels I get to keep up with the new words, new phrases, what young people tend to say these days to express their feelings. Otherwise there's no way of keeping up.
And you go back to China and you'll sound like a person that's 10 years out of date.
Exactly. So that wouldn't be nice. I mean, I already sound like I'm 10 years out of date.
Well, eventually you won't be able to help it.
No.
You're just old.
Yeah.
All the young kids will be speaking different kind of Chinese, and you'll be your 30s.
Yeah. There are a lot of like new words in Chinese, like all the time. It's crazy sometimes, and sometimes an old phrase will have a new meaning online. So it's really hard to keep up otherwise. I know English does that too, but I don't think it's as bad.
I think the difference is when Chinese comes with lots of new words, it's all in the one country, whereas English, since it's spread out over so many countries, it just becomes slang. So Australia will have its own new words, and New Zealand and England and South Africa. So it kind of doesn't meet in the middle that often until it hits like ultimate popular culture. So a lot of slang for America is usually picked up by the rest of the world because obviously American media dominates our screens.
Mm-hmm.
But like Australian stuff. Whereas I think with Chinese, it's just, since it's all in the one country, it's a kind of a big melting pot that really and you got 1.6 billion people all speak in that same language.
Yep.
So no wonder the language develops so much faster. Because you think of how many of that 1.6 billion are, kids, young kids, teenagers coming up with new things to say, new ways to say it. No wonder it changes all the time. Very impressive.
It is quite impressive, but it's not good if you're not using it very regularly.
No. And when you're at work, you're speaking Chinese with Malaysians and stuff who would know even less. Or more. That was an assumption.
Sometimes more, because my workplace is quite Asian dominated. So there's one pharmacist that is really into like Asian pop stuff. She's Malaysian. She keeps up with all the new things, and she tends to just focus on Asian things. So like Koreans, Chinese. She rarely watches like English speaking things. So sometimes she would tell me something and I'll be like, huh? Really? I didn't know about that. Because I focus more on like English series because I tend to watch it with JP, and watching Chinese stuff is a bit more difficult for him because he needs subtitles.
Yeah. My Chinese not so good. 我的中国话不好。
Oh, okay.
对不起。 Nah, can't watch. Definitely can't listen to Chinese and get what's going on. And if it's got subtitles, then I can't paint.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you want to do two things in one go. Sometimes. So yeah, what kind of YouTube content do you watch, JP? Nerd.
Yeah, it's all nerd centric. It's essentially I have too many hobbies, and so in order to feel like I'm participating in all my hobbies, most of the time it's thanks to YouTube that I feel like I am. So for instance, I like to think of myself as a gamer, console gamer mostly, but really I play very little computer games in any given week just because I just don't have time. And so I keep up with lots of gaming channels. Mainly, I focus now on Australian ones because I feel like, if you're going to give the views to someone, it should be some Australians. So, but Layman Gaming and Skill Up, I really like. Skill Up's very eloquent. Layman Gaming has very good, has some pretty good humor.
They use memes, don't they?
They use memes, yeah.
Skill Up doesn't use memes?
Not really, no. Skill Up is just very eloquent. He's well spoken, so
more professional, sort of.
Yeah, definitely professional. Whereas Layman Gaming's about the humor. They're brothers, and they used to do Layman Gaming together, but now they've kind of gone their own ways. But yeah, so I like watching theirs just for finding out about what the latest stuff is going on in the gaming industry. If a game's good, and also gaming development practices, because they talk about overworking and games under-delivering and the next big failure in the gaming world. So that's always something to keep up with. It makes me feel like I'm kind of part of the gamers when I can't just sit down and play games all day. It's not my job. I'm not a gaming YouTuber, which is fine. I'm not that good, and I like my job. Oh, there we go. Blue edging of the bases is done.
Do you also watch martial arts related things?
Yeah, so I do watch some wushu stuff, but not. When I'm watching wushu stuff, it's not because something new is released. It's because I'm looking to see what kind of styles are out there that I want to copy than anything.
What is wushu?
Oh right, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, what is wushu? It's Chinese martial arts. So if you pause this video and type in wushu right now, you'll see a whole bunch of performance-based usually. So wushu is a performance-based martial arts.
With weapons?
With weapons. It's Chinese martial arts. So essentially, it is comprised of everything that is Chinese martial arts, from weapons to freehand. It's a real mixed bag variety, and that's why I like it, because I used to do more contact-based martial arts, like taekwondo and karate, and they're great. They're really good. I like all martial arts, but I think for longevity, in terms of having ability to always be interested, wushu, by containing all of Chinese martial arts, there's always something new to learn. There's a different weapon, like a different kind of sword or a different kind of whip. There's always those to learn, and there's all these different thousands of years of different styles made by different monks that just make it really interesting for learning all the time, because I like learning new things. Whereas I felt like due to the regimented, tiered system of taekwondo and karate with the belts, there was definitely, I felt like a ceiling there. And I mean, I never got black belt, for instance. I got to just before black belt in taekwondo. But already I knew that once I got past that, then I wouldn't have much. Anyway, so point is, I like to watch a bit of wushu, and I also like to watch Kings of War stuff, so for this game. And I also like to watch Warhammer stuff too, because I do want to keep up with Warhammer, but there's only so much you can do in the day. When you meet up with friends, what game do you play? It just depends on what everyone's into. And right now, that's Kings of War when I meet up with my friends. So that's what kind of stuff I'm watching.
You also watch some indie MVs and sometimes. Because you always show me weird music videos.
I just like listening to music. And everyone knows, you know, if you just start listening to whatever music on the internet, eventually you'll start getting recommended new ones, and you never know where you'll end up. Yes, I do like to watch strange music videos. Usually memes, like Big Enough. Why not? But I also have just heard about the Wellerman song, so I like that one too. But yeah, look at that. Don't they look cool? So the idea with these models is that they can be used as, what this is a regiment, and then if you slot them together, I now have a horde. A horde of tortured souls, like that. Which is pretty cool. So what I'll do a little bit later, once this is dried, is around the edges, I'll just varnish them. Because obviously when I'm picking these up with my grubby hands, I don't want to be taking the paint off, and that would be really sad. So I will varnish the edge of the bases, and that will hopefully seal the paint in. Not hopefully, it will. I've got some models from 2006 that still possess their perfect paint. The painting's not perfect, because it was me as a kid, but it's sealed inside that varnish. So that's done. So let's move on to my horsey.
Horsey?
My horsey. So I'll paint the horse first.
Oh. I thought you were just painting those ghost-looking things.
The ghosty girls? No, now I'm going to paint this horse for my knight. Because I foresaw that I would not have enough painting this evening. So I've got my horse here on its base. And I've got my knight over there. But I won't start painting that until this one's done. Because now what I've done here, in case anyone's interested, is I've base coated, I've washed. So what we've got here is I've got the corn red for the horse's skin, just to make it look particularly demonic. Got black for all the horse hair and the hooves. Then for the horns here, so essentially it's kind of like a weird unicorn, rhino rather than unicorn, so it's kind of like a rhino horse. So I've painted those with the bone colour. Where is it? Well, essentially it's a cream colour from Army Painter, and then I've also just painted the armour nice in silver with some gold trimmings. Ooh, yeah, so there's some gold I need to repaint. And then all the strapping with brown, which is essentially done. So let's get some gold out, I think. How are you going over there, Farina?
Slightly difficult to navigate, but I'm making do. Oh, I can't wait to finish it. So the area I am stitching right now, well, I did it on purpose, sort of. It has so many colors. I didn't want to just stitch boring black, because no one really wants to see black. So I'm getting some pretty colors. Normally it's a lot of green, but I just stitched some purple, and now I'm doing a fuchsia pink. So hopefully it's interesting enough to watch on the camera. Let's hope I didn't count wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's okay so far. Touch of wood. Touch of wood.
You got your table there.
Yep. The only thing is, I'm sort of doing cross country, I guess. So if this is normal circumstance, this would be in my hand, and if my thread travels quite far, then I would make sure the thread goes underneath other threads, so there's no like thread hanging at the back. But because of this setup with the Lowry stand and the iPad facing me, it's hard to get access to the back of the project. So even if I travel, I just have to deal with it.
Can't travel very far these days.
No.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Ha! I was just saying I didn't make a mistake and I didn't make a mistake.
Oh no!
Yep.
Reset the clock.
Well, the touch wood thing didn't work.
Must not be good enough wood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to touch up the gold after this wash. When I say gold, I'm lying. This is the Screaming Bell foundation paint, but man, I think it looks really good. I really like it as a foundation. It is a foundation for gold, but I use it so much now. Look at that. It's just, I don't know if you've ever used things like, I've got this old gold here, so this is shiny dwarf bronze, and then you've got shining gold. Like, these are old paints, but I don't know if you've ever tried putting those straight onto black or something. It just doesn't look good. Whereas you put this on, and it holds its own. It goes on thick and, like, not too thick, like I'm watering it down, but it goes on and just sets the tone to be gold straight away, so you don't have to fight and put down layer and layer and layer of shining gold just to get that vibrancy. And I can use this by itself. Like, sometimes I don't even touch it up to anything higher. Okay. So yeah, don't have to worry about making this horse too amazing, because he is going to be underneath the knight, the rider.
I don't think you've said this on camera before. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, obviously my parents are living in China, but they know that JP likes, well, back then Warhammer, or like just wargaming. So
Well, it's all the same to them.
yeah, a lot of miniatures and stuff. My mum loves it. My mum really appreciates the painting.
That was something I did not predict. I did not predict my Chinese parents-in-law to be, well, first accepting of it, because it is a bit of a wasted pastime, you know. But not only accepting, but like encouraging. Really cool about it. I mean, I think there's virtues to it. You know, it relaxes me. I'm producing something.
Yeah, from my mom's point of view, I mean, a guy could love going to a bar and drinking, and in comparison, painting at home with miniatures sounds a lot better. And it, well, I guess if you control it properly, it costs less than
it can
drinking.
cost more than going to a bar.
Yep.
But I can't paint that much.
But I mean, if you go to a bar a lot, each time you can spend hundreds of dollars.
Oh, easy.
But I guess you really gotta purchase a lot.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty crazy to be spending hundreds of dollars. Ooh, and I really like the game that this is all for.
Oops.
I like the gaming aspect. I'm not a good one. I'm not a good gamer, but I like it because it's hanging out with people, which we can't do right now. But guess what's gonna come out soon? Florina's gonna learn how to play Kings of War.
Oh, I'm still gonna kick JP's ass. Seriously.
Probably. I taught her how to play Magic the Gathering, like when we first started our relationship years ago.
Yeah, like maybe a few months in.
Yeah, I think we were just, I don't know why I was teaching her. We were a bit bored.
Not sure. I think you taught me when I was still living with my mates, like schoolmates. Caught onto my ring.
But yeah, and gave her a vampire deck. I didn't think was that great, and I can't remember what I was playing, but yeah, essentially she beat me. She figured out how the deck worked and started using it really, really well. If you're not familiar with Magic the Gathering vampires, they usually work by stealing your life and giving it to themselves. Not all at once, just very steadily draining you of life, which is thematic. And she figured it out. And before I knew it, I had no life left, and she had drained it all. And I was a dry husk.
Well, but I didn't know. I thought you were just letting me win because, you know, you want to be encouraging. You don't want to be, like, beating my ass, and then I never want to touch magic cards ever again. So I thought you were just going easy on me.
No.
I mean, I was happy that I won, but I also was thinking, oh, maybe he was just being nice, you know, like a teacher should be.
I don't want to scare off.
Yeah. But then later on he told me, oh, I was actually playing. I think you were going easy on me and then you weren't. Because you were like, wait a second, this is not
being
going...
aggressive in the first few turns and then suddenly, oh no, things getting out of hand.
So yeah, I quite like strategy game. Find it fun. Anything that needs a bit of thinking, I don't mind. That's why we when there's no lockdown and stuff, we were going around playing Room Escape with some other friends.
Is pretty strategic.
It's quite fun because you need to be observant. You need to think. Well, if it's a very well made escape room, that's what happens. But if it's just lock and key, no logic, then it's pretty boring.
Yeah, a good Room Escape should be making you think outside the box. Not just you see a combination or, you know, a combination lock and you're like, alright, where's something with letters? And then you find the letters and you're like, okay, put them in.
That is really boring.
Yeah, or you see a lock with a keyhole and you're just like, okay, where's the key?
Yeah, have we been to ones like that? We haven't. I did with one of my colleagues. Man, that room was really bad. And obviously every time after you get out of the room, may it be, you know, a success or failure, they'll ask you, oh, how was it? I can't say it was crap. I'll be like, yeah, it's okay. But no, I did not enjoy it whatsoever. It was so boring.
Yeah, it needs to make you think outside the box, and usually the best way to do that is by having a proper theme and then using it. Because, you know, some of these Room Escapes have a loose storyline, but half the time they don't really follow. It's not really got anything to do with it. The good ones should actually use the story to their advantage. We went to a really, supposedly the most scary one, Annabelle, in the city. And I mean, it was...
No spoiler though.
No, but it wasn't that scary.
Admittedly, I was closing my eyes whenever it was sort of scary. So I mean, it had potential. It had potential to be a lot more scary, but it didn't.
Exactly.
Like, it didn't go there. I guess
the doll didn't move enough. I mean, you should all know that since it's Annabelle, it's based off the Annabelle from the Conjuring franchise, and she didn't move enough.
Yeah.
I was looking at her and I'm like, when's she gonna move? When's she gonna do something creepy? And she never did. She didn't turn her face or blink.
If you don't know, we do watch horror movies together. And I'm not talking like just a cheap gore-fest slasher movie. We're talking like supernatural, I don't know, possess, that type.
Love me a good horror movie.
I am scared, so I do get scared. But I still like to watch those. So in that case, JP is pretty lucky because we can watch horror movies together. Normally, if something is a bit more gory, I can deal with it as well, but not Saw. Not gore for gore's sake. That I can't deal, but if it's just like bloody, it's fine. That I can deal. So yeah, I mean, that Annabelle room was pretty good. Yeah, so that made me want to try more similar rooms, like horror themed.
Well, it's something different, because usually when you go into these horror gnomes that you don't, when you go into Room Escapes, the only real pressure is the time. Like, you just want to get it done. Whereas the horror ones, there is that little element of fear where you're like, I want to get out. Like, I actually want to get out. Because obviously all these escape rooms will say, oh, you're going to die if you don't finish it, you'll be trapped forever. But obviously they won't. They'll just, the hour will tick away, and then they'll say, "Oh, you guys failed. You have to get out." But when it's the horror ones, there's just a little bit extra, and there were definitely some moments in the Annabelle one that I did feel it, and I was like, "Ooh, pretty spooky, but not too spooky." But I guess they only can make it so spooky to a limit. Otherwise, people will really freak out. But I mean, come on, we signed a waiver that said
it's not for that room though. You have to sign that waiver anyways.
Okay, well, so there you go. You have to sign a waiver saying if I might have a heart attack. And if you sign something like that,
is it?
Pretty much. So essentially, you're not going to say they forced you to have a heart attack. It's like, I knew what I was doing. I'm an adult. But anyway, I was expecting with that waiver signed that we were going to see some really creepy shit. Stuff. Sorry, kids. But it was not scary enough. There's a few. If they like pointers, I can let them know. Definitely make the model. Make the doll move. I mean, I am painting dolls.
Dollies?
Little dollies. Plastic dollies.
Plastic dollies. So in normal life we do swear. Let's just make that clear.
Try to turn it down for folks at home.
But we're trying not to on camera. Because it is a public space. I guess we gotta be more mindful of what we say. You don't want to upset most people. You will always upset people, but you don't want to upset most people. I guess that's what I'm getting at. And being Aussies, if you don't know any Aussies swear a bit more.
There is a certain nonchalance when it comes to cursing in our culture. It just, yeah. And
I don't know, it just makes saying things more satisfying.
Yeah, it's not that, I mean, Australians are pretty, like we are as a bunch, we are descended from both convicts and, at least the white folks are convicts. The elders of the land are definitely more civilized than the white folks, but
Oh, they're very family oriented.
Exactly. Whereas the white folks, we came over on ships that we didn't want to be on in the first place. So everyone's here. Anyway, Australians do like to swear.
And party.
Well, yeah, we shouldn't.
Oh, not right now.
No parties here.
Please don't party. Please stay at home if you can. Please protect yourself. Please be kind to others.
Alright, back to the horse. I was painting the rider for a little bit. Just need to use up the rest of the gold. Does anyone else get that when you're using a paint palette? You put a bit too much paint on it and you're like, whoa, I need to use this on something else.
Yeah, so it happens quite a lot. Okay, we're ready to go to bed. And then JP's like, okay, I'm just going to do this color quick. And then squeeze, a huge drop comes out. It's just like, I don't want to waste it. So I'm just going to paint for the next 20 minutes.
I'm really bad at judging. Especially, I mean, it's a bit easier when you've got the paint pots. You just lift out the amount of paint. And arguably, you can put it back in. But when it comes to the squeezing pots, these, oh man. No, the drop, what are they called? Eyedropper? Dropper? Anyway, drop bottles. Yeah, they're annoying because you get no paint, you squeeze a little bit more, and then, oh, bam, suddenly your whole paint palette's flooded with red. And before you know it, you're scrambling through your collection of models being like, does anything need red? I can't waste this. That's me at 1 a.m. So, yeah.
It's not uncommon that this happens.
No, it's not. It shouldn't. Yeah. Maybe at the point when I say one more colour, I should just stop, take a look at myself, and go to sleep. But anyway. But hopefully, Fiona will enjoy some Kings of War. So the idea is we'll have one video where I'll be teaching her to play Kings of War. So that will really be with like pretty much no models, not much of an army at all. You know, a little bit of this and that to get the idea. And then we'll have a small battle for the second video, which will be, if she likes it, about an actual battle report. So at least there will be some battle report content coming to the channel.
Oh yeah, so speaking of that, wow. JP's battle report became very popular. I mean, I was very proud of him as well because he did put a lot of effort in editing it. He spent hours doing it. I think he's proud too.
It's probably my best video I've made.
And I think it's only fair that people like it, but...
It doesn't always correlate.
No, it doesn't. And I know that very well. But, well, I guess, at least at this stage, the most important thing is you put out something you're proud of.
Exactly.
So for people who have watched it and commented and gave him a lot of encouragement, thank you. That was very nice. And made me feel like, okay, it's not just the cross-stitch community that's very nice. Kings of War community is very encouraging and kind as well.
They really are. I don't know if they'll like this video, but that's fair enough. I mean, it is just me painting some shit. Oh, sorry again. There I go. I can't help it. Oh, gosh.
Aussies, mate.
Yeah, Aussies. The Americans and the British would get so angry at me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and do a little bit of a blend.
A blend? Oh, there's blend in stitching too.
Yeah, well, this is kind of 50-50. Corn red with pure red from the army painter. To make something a little bit brighter to put on my horsey. You know, your classic red horse.
Wait, red horse?
Yeah, I got a red horse here for you. It's demonic.
Why is it? Oh, okay. Is it going to be what? Full on red?
Oh, yeah.
Dark red? Bright red?
It started off dark red, but we'll see how far I want to go. Mm-hmm. I'm taking it up to slightly not so dark red right now. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the cool thing about painting Kings of War Demon Army, is it's really up to you. There is lore, but the lore doesn't say these guys have to be this color. Whereas that was always a little bit stifling in 40k. Like, yes, you can paint them whatever you like, but since there's rules specifically for Space Marines of that color, if you go to a thing playing Space Marines not of that color, but say they are, some people do get annoyed.
You don't have Space Marines, do you?
I don't. But
oh, because I thought, yeah, because you tend to ask me, oh, what color should I go with this guy?
Yeah, well, I like to get Fiona to influence my color decisions because, firstly, she hasn't got any preconceived notions of what color something should be. So that's helpful, but she's also pretty good at matching colors in a way that makes them look more pleasing. But for this red horse, I went on my own. I did not ask for advice. I'm just
no, you did not. I can vouch for you.
I just want a red horse.
Fair enough. You do what you want. You're your own boss.
Well, yeah, considering my whole army is full of demons that are blue and purple. More of a blue-purple.
So you have a rainbow army.
Exactly. Rainbow army. Everything's... There's orange... Not orange. There's yellow and green fire and spirits. So why not change it up with a red horse?
So yeah, I'm hopefully gonna learn some Kings of War. Hopefully gonna learn it fast. We just want to make it like as it is, so I didn't get any pointers beforehand, don't worry.
Yeah, she insisted. I was like, oh, we can play beforehand and you can figure it out and then we can make a learning video. But she insisted that she wants to make it as raw as possible. All mistakes included. So, you know, I gave her the option to look smart.
It's okay. I can look dumb to make you look smart. It's fine.
Finally, someone gets me.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I get through life.
Oh, that's where we're getting. Okay.
It's all relative.
Indeed.
Maybe next time I'll be painting some scenery for my goblins using the big honkin' dry brush Verena gave me from her makeup brush collection.
Mm-hmm. Just giving you some crappy ones. Well, that one I don't remember the last time I used it, really. I have some better ones doing similar jobs, I think. So...
Yep, and I'll need it for my scenery. Well, not scenery, multi-bases. If you think my multi-basing my demons was somewhat interesting, then guess what? The goblin one's going to be next level.
There is always another level.
Exactly. I've learned some lessons and also become more confident. You know, when I first started these demons, I'm like, I want a simple because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm sure with stitching it's a similar thing. You want to start off simple, although Florina didn't. She went the opposite. She went and got the biggest project she could find and needed a Lowry stand to do it.
Well, let's just say I don't want my life to be boring.
No, you don't. You don't play by the rules.
Nope. I do not. Why don't you create more problems for yourself and try to solve them? I wonder whether like how often people doing wargaming make like paint with me sort of video, or is that too?
Well, in terms of Kings of War, there's not that many paint with me kind of people, but there are quite a number that do hobby with me. Because a lot of the hobby is, making the bases, making the armies, putting it all together. A lot of people like to do that. But there are some miniature painters out there.
So, do they get much view, or?
I don't know.
Because you never watched it, obviously. So it doesn't appeal to you.
I tend to not watch people painting.
Oh, because you can't watch.
No, it's not something I like to do stuff.
No, I did not. Okay,
Not sure where this model's from. Might be from the chariot kit. Not sure. It's pretty cool. Horse. I just got it in a trade. Anyone have that where you get trades and it comes with some models and you're like, huh, where'd that come from? Does that happen to you, Karina, when you buy some secondhand stuff and there's bits and bobs in there?
Well, I guess if someone wants to get rid of a load of stuff, they'll be like, okay, this whole thing has this, and some random patterns or whatever for free. If you get it. I guess. But I don't buy stuff like that. Though it hasn't happened to me yet. It's normally like, okay, I browse through what people have on offer and this is exactly what I want. And then I get it. And then that's exactly what I get.
Very good. I used to be on secondhand Facebook groups and things like that for wargaming supplies, but geez, it's Too much temptation. So I quit them. It's too easy, you know. $100 here, $50 there. And you get such bargains, and then suddenly you've got way too much that you could never ever use. I mean, we've all got a pile of shame, but at some point you just look at it and you go, oh, come on, man.
You can do better.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if some of those bargains could go to someone else who might actually use it. You know, what's the point of me hoarding all the good stuff?
Well, I guess for you, because most of these miniatures are from, like, you know, these companies. So you know exactly what the company would have in terms of, you know, what's on offer. But Cross Stitch is so big and so many different vendors do it. So for me, going onto secondhand, pre-owned places where you can see, you know, whatever, is a way to get to know what's on the market, what's on offer. So for me, that's nice. But yeah, it has happened before. Oh, I quite like this. And then turns out I don't have the fund for it. And that does suck. But hey.
All back to budgeting.
Yep.
Alright, that's looking a bit better. Get a couple of tones there. But whether I take it up to the next level of red, I don't know. Maybe we'll work a bit more on the rider. See how he looks.
I feel like it shouldn't be bright red.
Shouldn't be bright red? Yeah, maybe it's red enough already. Because right now it's kind of a deep maroon. And obviously he's looking very bright right now because he's got an unwashed metal all over him. Still need to paint some more gold bits, but yeah. I'm pretty happy with that horse, so I'll put that down. My ghosty ladies at the sides should be fully dry now. Yes, they are. So gonna varnish those to seal that up. Yeah, we're over an hour now. 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Are we?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
wow.
Time flies when you just keep talking non-stop.
Yeah. It's nice to talk sometimes, especially...
Complaining about lockdown.
Hey, complaining sometimes helps you cope.
Yes, it's quite therapeutic.
Don't always bottle everything up inside. It's not good for your mental health. If you feel like you need to relax, stay at home, do it. You don't want to keep, you know, trying to cop it and then you explode. It's not good for anyone.
No. Definitely not. Well, shall we call it there?
Yeah.
Shall we say goodbye?
I suppose.
Alright. Well, thanks for sticking with us if you're still here after an hour and 10 minutes. Jeez. But hopefully you enjoyed just watching me paint a little bit and throwing a stitch. A lot or a little bit?
A little bit.
A little bit. Well, that's some more hobby with us. So, let us know answers to all the things that we kind of blabbed about. I can't remember them now. YouTube channels you watched, lockdown restrictions you've got, all kinds of things. We'll be happy to hear. And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye!
Bye!